Hello my friends, today I will show you how to photograph glassware. Now this is a very simple shot. It only takes one light and very minimal gear. Pretty much you need no gear other than one light. So let's get right into it. The first thing we need is an acrylic white plexiglass. So this because it's reflective and it's white. Now if you do not have white acrylic, you can buy clear acrylic, like this one over here, and if you put it on top of white paper or a white tablecloth, you will get a white reflective surface. If you put it on top of a black foam board, let's say, then you'll get a black reflective surface, and you can do it with color as well. Now, if you do not have a clear plexiglass, then what you can do is you can take the glass from one of your picture frames and put that on top of a white paper and use that as a reflective surface. So now that we have this, let's bring in a glass. And I will be using this wine glass over here. Now that we have our surface and our glass, let's turn on the camera. Mine is already on. And take a shot to make sure that we get a black frame. We do not want any of this studio lighting to influence it. So I'm going to take a shot. And we do have a black frame. Now for reference, I am shooting with my Sony 7R4. I have a 90mm macro lens on. My settings are f13, shutter speed 1/250, and ISO 100. And that gives me a completely black frame. Now let's take a shot with some light on. Now I'm going to make a couple of mistakes and we will build the shot, step by step, because I want you to really understand how light affects glassware. So I'm going to start by taking a photo. Like most of you guys might think you need to light the, glassware. So that would be like at 45 degrees from kind of the side front. So let's take a shot and see what that gives us. Oop, I should turn on my light trigger. So let's see now. Now, if you're new to product photography and you come from the field of, let's say, portrait photography, you might think that the correct way to light the scene is from the side or kind of like at 45 degrees from the front. So let's do that. I'm going to put my light kind of at 45 degrees. I am going to try to focus on my glass. Let's get it in the frame here. And there you go. It's not focusing. All right, let's take a shot. And as you can see, this is looking pretty horrible. And that is because when you photograph clear glass or vodka bottles or any kind of alcohol bottles, even if the liquid is not clear, you need to light it from the back. That's the way it would look the best. So let's move this light to the back. I am going to move it pretty far out. Let's go with something like this. And I want to make sure it's straight behind my subject. And now I want to make sure this glass is smack in the middle of that softbox. And I will need to refocus. Let's get my composition right here. Focus again. Let's take a shot. That is looking better. Now, here is one thing when it comes to composition and you photograph glassware. You see how my camera is a lot lower and looking up into the glass. And that's the way you want to photograph it because you want to see this oval, the rim. If I move my camera higher and I shoot straight on, something like this. So if I would be photographing this from this angle, and take a shot, you will not see the rim, you see, and that looks boring. We need to see the rim. So I am going to lower my camera and angle it upwards because I really want to capture that rim. Now look how thick the line is on the stem and on the bottom of the glass. It's very thick and it doesn't look very elegant. Also, our background looks wrinkly and it doesn't look nice. The color and the light is not very even. So let's fix the thickness of our outside edges, the black edges. So the way to get those thinner is to move your light closer to the glass. So watch what happens if I move it a lot closer to the glass. Now our lines are very, very light, maybe too light. So we'll have to find a happy medium and maybe move it more in the back. And that is better. Now I'm having a few other issues in here. And one of them is the fact that I don't really want to see the horizon line from my reflective surface. So this line, I do not want to see it. So how can I solve that? Well, one easy trick to do that, and this is a great solution if you do not have a plexiglass, if you do not have a piece of glass, you don't have anything reflective. This is how you can create that reflection of the glass without a reflective surface. I'm going to turn this glass upside down, just like that. And then I'm going to bring one more wine glass, set it right on top of it. There we go. Make sure the bases are lined up perfectly, and let's take a shot. Actually, I need to reframe it now. So I need to raise my camera higher. So now it doesn't matter what our table is or what our surface, we do not need reflective because we stacked two glasses one on top of each other. So right now, this solves our problem of getting rid of the horizon. Everything looks nice and clear, and it's looking better, but not the best. And what's happening here, if you notice, the light is pretty even all around it, but we get this gray spot in the middle. And what that spot is, if I take apart my softbox, you see I have two diffusion materials in here. This is a double diffusion material. I will leave the links to this softbox and to the description below. But I have this reflector, and this blocks the light so it doesn't have a hot spot, so it spreads it evenly. And usually I leave that one on, but in this case I feel like it does more harm than good. So I'm going to take that one off. And let's put this softbox back. All right, let's take another shot. Let's see if that got rid of that gray spot in the middle. And it did. Now it gave us a brighter spot in the middle. So be aware of your softbox. If it has that reflector, that metal reflector, take it off because that will give you that darker spot in the middle. Great. Our light is still not completely even. And also I can still see the wrinkles into my softbox. So how do I solve that problem? Well, what I will do is I will move my light backwards, maybe something like that. Make sure it's still kind of centered. And then I will bring a diffusion material. I will leave the links of all this stuff, you guys, in the description below. But just so you know, you do not need to use this stuff because if you do not have a diffusion material, you can also use one of these guys, a 5-in-1 reflector, and you can use this to diffuse your light. And if you do not have a 5-in-1 reflector, you can hang a bed sheet or something to diffuse the light. And if you don't want to do any of that, another great solution, that might be the best solution actually, if you don't have any of this stuff, is to use a white wall and move your glasses as far as you can from the wall, and then shoot the bright light onto the wall. You don't need any kind of soft boxes or anything because the big white wall will act as a large diffusion material. It will bounce off of it, and that's way how you get a really large source of light. But I do not have any available white walls in this room. Every single wall is taken, so my solution is to use this diffusion material. Like I said before, I will leave all the links in the description below. Let's take a shot. And you see how that kind of softened the light? Our image looks a lot more elegant now. I'm still getting the edges are still a little bit too dark, so I'm going to move the diffuser, not the light, closer to my glasses. So let's try that. And that should make the lines a little bit thinner. Also, we need to add more power. Right now we're at 116. Let's try 1/4 power. And now that we understand how the light affects our shot, let's create a little scene and try to take a pretty picture. So how do we do that? Well, I'll bring in a few more glasses and let's see. I'm not going to use the double glass scenario here. I'll just use it just so it's easier for me to maneuver them around. So let's bring in a couple of more glasses. And let's try to get a good composition. So let's see, what do we get here? I need to go lower now. And I am going to move more this way so I can fit everything. I have a pretty long lens, so. All right, what I will do, this is a trick for focusing when you are working with clear glasses. I need a pen. Let me see if I can find a pen. I used to have one in my pocket. Let's see, there it is. So what I will do, I will set up my composition. Let's see, maybe something like that. And I will set the pen kind of where I want my focus to be. And that will give my camera something to grab on for focus. So let's see. There you go. And now we know our focus is over here, and let's take a shot. And that is not bad. That is not bad at all. Our composition is looking good. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring in some liquid. So let's put in some water first. Now, one tool that I like to use when I do drink photography is to use one of these syringes. This is a 60mm syringe. And because I do not want to splash my drink around and, get splashes on the glass and stuff. So I'm going to use this syringe to fill my glasses. And this one does not fit in here. I need a glass to pour this in. So you know what? I'll just pour this one. Let's see. And there you go. We have one drink on. Let's see. Take a picture. That is not bad. For the second glass, I'll be using this water mixed with food. All right. So that is my second glass. Let's take a shot. And that is looking nice. And then for the third glass, I have some water mixed with food coloring. And for this one, we'll use orange. Definitely more than that, though. I think I want it to be more full than everything else in there. Let's see that. Let's take this shot first, see what it looks like. Yep, definitely I want it to be more than all the other ones to give it more interest. And let's see now. I hope this was helpful to you and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skyler Ewing. I'll see you in my next video.